CQ. This is WA4LL. CQ, the old friends net. CQ, the old friends net. This net meets U.S. frequency on Sunday evening. Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. and Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. The net is conducted in the AM mode only and uses the old-fashioned round table format. All stations with the capability of generating an AM signal are encouraged to participate. We usually find a lot of vintage gear being used, but anything you've got that generates AM is welcome. It's a great place to exchange information, look for parts and pieces, and maybe swap a rig or two. So we will take check-ins and generate a list, and then we'll start this day's activity. So, CQ the old friends, WA4 LLR standing by.
M4LQ.
Evening, Dave, W4KR.
KN4R. K4WD.
November 4 Alpha Kilo N4AK.
W4MEC.
KJ4YEV.
All right, let me give you what I have. Two stations doubled after Steve and before Brian. So I've got N4LQ and a space for those guys, KN4R, K4VWD, N4AK, W4DC, and KJ4YEV. Now, who were the guys that doubled after Steve?
Stan W4KR was one of them.
I'm sorry, say again.
Yes, Stan W4KR was one of them.
All right. Well, that's interesting. He's not usually weak enough to be overridden by anybody. W4K. No. All right, let me run over the list one more time. N4LQ, W4KR, KN4R, K4VWD, N4AK, W4MEC, KJ4YEV. Who did I miss? Okay, short list today. One more time quickly. LQ, KR, R, VWD, AK, MEC, and YEV. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Some QRN, but everybody okay. We've got about 77 degrees and partly cloudy up here in the eastern Jones of Yancey County. So we'll go ahead and get started. Steve, tell us the good news from the WA4LLR.
All right, Dave, WA4LLR. Excuse me, it's N4LQ. Well, the good news is we got another quarter-inch of rain and a lot of lightning and thunder, and it cooled off. It was up close to 90 or about 88 degrees, and now it's only 76 degrees, so it feels pretty good out here. And I do want to run a test on the next round with this compressor and see if I can get some reports. So next time we'll do that. So on over to Stan, W4KR, N4LQ.
All right, Steve, N4LQ, W4KR. Good evening, everybody. Static level 15/9. Temperature is 83 degrees here right now. Copy is rough. If I say the static level is 15, Steve, you were running between 15 over and 20 over. But it's rough. Yeah, I just held back, Dave, because I figured if I didn't make it, then ain't no sense burning the electricity. KN4R, go ahead, Brian, W4KR.
Okay, Stan, W4KR in the group, KN4R. Well, everybody so far is coming through just great here, and so the expensive electricity is well taken. So nice here in Sherrills Ford. We had a nice rain this afternoon around 3:30 for a while, and I talked to a fellow that was up at the Ferryville Hamfest today, and he said that it wasn't bad, but it was about 75% of normal. So over to you, Lee, K4VWD and the group, KN4R.
Okay, Brian, thank you. This is K4VWD, Lee in Greenville, South Carolina. We're at 78 degrees and it's quit raining at the moment. So everything's fine here. Copying everybody so far with a little difficulty because of the noise. So Glenn, here she comes. N4AK, K4VWD.
Okay, K4VWD in the group, November 4 Alpha Kilo. Yeah, it's kind of unusual. I guess it's the band conditions with all the static. A volume on my radio doesn't seem like it's as loud as it should be. Anyway, my thermometer says 85. That's not in G Hall or most everybody else. So anyway, it's partly cloudy here. Kind of a lazy Sunday afternoon. So Brian, I responded to Les's stuff he had.
Uh-oh.
Yep, that sounds like a oops. Glenn, are you still there?
I'll continue on the next go-round. Just pass by. So on over to Charlie, W4MEC.
Okie dokie. N4AK in the group, W4MEC. Well, the highest WR, I forgot to look at that. Let me see if I can quickly assist the application of RF to the antenna feedline, and I have. Okay. Well, Glenn, you were talking along just fine, and that was it. So I don't know what happened there, but when you came back, you were perfectly readable. So bang that microphone on the table one more time. So anyway, we got about 81 degrees here. We had some rain off and on this afternoon, and I did hear some thunder. Not too far away, and nothing affecting us. I didn't even go outside to flip the antenna switch to the knife switch to ground. So we lost power again yesterday about 4:30. It came back about 8:30. I'm not sure if a car hit a tree or a tree hit a car, but a tree, a car, and a power line were all involved in the same spot. I don't know, I guess you could call this power line tree alley. About 2 miles from here, there's a road, the Canoga Road, that comes up this way, and right next to a nursery on the other side is a large hill, and it's covered with pine trees. And the power line is on that side of the road. And over the 31 years I've been here, I don't know how many times a tree has fallen on that hill and taken the power line out. And you would think that they're doing something different in that area, but they haven't. My neighbor up the top of the road has got a tree that's hanging over the power line, kind of like Snoopy on the top of his doghouse when he's playing like a goose. And Duke Energy said that when he called to talk to them about the danger of it, they actually said, we'll let the tree fall and then we'll fix it because it's cheaper. I do not understand that reasoning. At some point in the future, that tree will fall and take out the power down this road, and then they'll clean up the tree and fix the power line. So makes no sense, but must be something on the corporate ledger that says, wait for the tree to fall. So, anyway, we got the power back, and it went off in the middle of the night for about 30 minutes. They must have been doing something else that they needed to change or improve in the middle of the night there. So that's all well and good. Went off exactly at 1:30 and came back on at 2 o'clock. So let's see how it's going over there. KJ4YEV in the group, W4ABC.
The group, this KJ4YEV. Pretty good little storm roll through here just a little bit there. Got a big rim down in my yard. It must be 10 feet diameter and about 20 feet long, and somehow by the grace of God, it hit my antenna because the straight one into my antenna was tied in place. But it missed it. The antenna's still up there. The rim's on the ground, so I got to get that cut out. And I want to thank Brian for publicizing that ad from West. I believe I bought those crystals, Brian. I wouldn't have known about it if it hadn't been for your email. But I took PTH ads for Sunday. I was glad to get them. So I'll keep it moving. Looks like I'm tail end here, so I'll get to the W4LLR, KJ4Y.
Well, fine business, Al. KJ4YEV, WA4LR. Let me take a quick stand by. Do we have any other stations that would like to come aboard? Come in. W4JPL. Okay, heard John, W4JPL. Okay, John, you'll come after Al on the next round, so go ahead and make one and give it back to me. W4JPL, WA4LR. All right, well, good evening, everybody. This is John from JPL in Liberty, North Carolina. We had a lot of rain come through, but there's nothing showing up on the website that shows the lightning stuff, so but no big fuss. I hope everybody's doing all right. Running my Johnson van and the Alcrafters SX101A. And busy weekend. Got a busy week coming up. W4 JPL. All right, John. The Valiant sounds good. All right, one more standby. Any other stations? Come now. All right, not hearing anything. Good enough. Well, let's see, Steve. You got a 1/4 inch of rain and it cooled you down to 76. Well, that's great. We had a shower come through, but we only got 11/100 of an inch, so it didn't cool it too much up here. And Brian, you're one of the I think you're the strongest signal up here today, or you were on that previous transmission, just booming in. A good signal, excellent audio. And Lee, 78 degrees. Well, you're not too much. You're about the same temperature we are up here. That's unusual. And Glenn, you got 85, partly cloudy. And Charlie, I'm telling you, this must be your year to lose power. You've had a time keeping the electrons flowing over there. And cheaper to wait until it falls and takes down the power line and then fix it than it is to go ahead and just cut the tree. Sounds like a government job. No, let's wait and pay $75 for a screwdriver. I'm glad the tree missed your antenna. And John, glad you got on board with us today. Even with the QRM, you sounded really good up here. Well, let's see. Our space weather, sunspot count's 100. Solar flux index is 176, and the K is 1.33. So the geomagnetic field is pretty stable. We had an X-class solar flare yesterday, just after 6 o'clock p.m., and they're saying we may get a CME on the 8th or 9th, so we'll keep an eye out for that. A few items from this day in history. On a sad note, on this day in 1945, the United States forces dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan. More than between 70 and 80,000 people perished in the initial blast, and another 60,000 died before the end of the year because of fallout poisoning. Let's see. On this day in 2012, NASA's robot Curiosity arrived on Mars and been doing. Let's see what else is going on. On this day in 1965, President Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act. On this day in 1911, Lucille Ball was born. That's a brighter note. And on a sadder note, on this day in 1890, William Kimmler became the first person executed by the electric chair at Auburn State Prison in New York. And on this day in 1809, English poet Alfred Lord Tennyson was born in Lincolnshire. And that's about it for this day in history. So let's start back around. N4LQ, I'm looking forward to the audio check. WA4LLR.
Okay, thank you, Dave. WA4LLR, N4LQ. And we are live streaming the net here today on YouTube for the first time, I think. I may have done it years ago, but anyhow, I sent a link out, and if you're having trouble receiving, then this may be one solution. You can listen to yourself. Anyway, I'm going to check this compressor out now, and all I got to do is unplug the mic from the rig, which is a LMAC AF68, and plug it into the compressor. Stand by. Oh, it's kind of hard to do with one hand. Okay, this N4LQ, and we are now on the P&H compressor, just checking to see what the effect is on it. And I'm certain it will not change your S meter any, but it may change the level of the audio as it is now compressed. And let's see, did I have, I got an email from Tom, W4FJQ, who was experiencing severe thunderstorms up there in High Point. And that's what prompted me to fire up the live stream. And I sent him an email so he can, if he gets the email in time, he can listen to us at least. So, Stan, I guess it's your turn, W4KR, N4LQ.
N4LQ, W4KR. Okay, Steve. Boy, it's hard for me to judge one versus the other, Steve. The static level was just too high. I'm peaking about, what does it say? About 1350, 1350 watts. Good grief. That's not enough. Yeah. Crash bang is crashing banging pretty well. Charlie, we've got a situation down here. Our power company here, our local power company has a name for those events. They're called F-150 events, and the reason is that they have had throughout the area they've been in business here since before World War II, and they've had many an event of power poles being hit by pickups at 2 o'clock in the morning because the vehicular drivers were not in condition to be driving. And we had a spot just about a quarter of a mile west of us here, where there was a steep curve, and some poles there had gotten knocked out. They fixed it because if you go off the side of the road about 200 feet, There's about a 50-foot rise in the land, and power company finally fixed it. They got their right of way expanded up into that area, and they moved the poles up there, and that made a difference. That slowed things down around here anyway. Trucks can't get up there, can't get to the poles anymore. Yeah, Steve, I wish I could give you a report, but I couldn't tell enough difference there. So Brian, here it comes. Boy, it sure is crashing and banging this afternoon. KN4R, W4KR. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, Stan, very good. W4KR and the old friends. Brian, KN4R on the Globe Champ, 350 here, listening on the 51S1, and everybody is doing a great job of static elimination here. Stan, you had a great transmission that time, and very good on the F-150 event. We have stolen Kia events and Beamer events this way, but that's a good name for him, that's for sure. And hello to Tom, if he's listening on Steve's live screen. And Dave, you're coming through just great, and thanks for the signal report, and thanks for the running the net, and also the today in history note. I'm getting those crystals. That's great. I think you had said you were looking for a 3715 crystal. John, you're booming in here on the Valiant, and I want to hear more about this busy weekend, and also I don't know if you went into Berryville or not, or if you're John W4HWT over there in Liberty went. But I heard back from a buddy, and he said it was good, but not quite as busy as it usually is. So, over to you, Mr. Lee, K4BWD, and the group, KN4R.
Oops. Okay, Brian, very good. Well, this is K4BWD. And thank you, Brian. Brian, you my S-meter that time, so did Steve, so did Stan, and so did Dave. But with the static, Steve, I can't really tell you about the audio. I don't know with the static, because static, it makes it kind of hard to copy, even with the strong signals, and everybody's got a strong signal. But everything's fine here at my house. I had a phone call this morning at 6:30. My grandson called from Tampa. He was headed to work. He knows I get up early. And I was up, and I had already shaved and showered and had clothes on and was sitting down sipping coffee when he called. So it was good to hear from him. So Glenn, here she comes. N4AK, K4VWD.
Okay, Lee. K4VWD. K4VWD. And the group. I listened to the YouTube thing, and that was confusing me. Boy, I appreciate you really streaming that audio on today, because it's all the difference in the world. You're kind of in the middle of our group. And I don't recognize that screen. Is that an icon 7610? I'm not sure what that is. You're streaming the audio, but it's really very good. And it's surprising how well that I'm able to hear everybody 100%. On my radio here with my own antenna system, the QRN was absolutely blanking some people out. You'd miss part of the sentence. So that's very nice. I appreciate you doing that. So I'm looking here at all the signals. And the problem I had earlier was I was trying, I've got my antennas end-fed, and I thought it would at least hold about 150 watts of AM, but apparently it didn't. I could see the SWR rising, so I'm sure the balun was heating up in there, or the transformer, whichever is the correct way to go. So anyway, it's a nice group in here this afternoon, and I know a lot of you fellas are not caring about FT8, but yesterday the bands were in lousy condition. So I was on 17 meters, and on 17 meters there was not a single phone signal that I could copy on 17 meters, nothing. So I went down to 18.1 and got on FT1. I pumped the power up a little bit to about 120 watts, and I worked into Angola, that's a D2 UI, and I worked into Ankara, Turkey. I worked the Canadian Embassy. And when I say I worked it, you fellas understand the hello, goodbye, DX kind of context, and the computer's doing it for you. So that's just something strange about propagation. Like I say, nothing could I copy on sideband. And I heard one or two weak CW signals, but DX was rolling in on FT8. So much for that. W4 MEC and 4AK.
Okie dokie, then 4AK in the group. W4 MEC. Real good. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, August 6th, 45. The first nuke on Hiroshima, and the yield was about 20 kilotons. 20,000 tons of TNT. And folks like to still use that number when they talk about the possibility of nuclear war, and they will base destruction zones on that bomb on places like New York City and Chicago, and they'll draw circles on the map that say this will be up and this will be destroyed. The problem is about the smallest weapon they're going to drop if they use it is 1 megaton. So that 20 kiloton yield was the M80 of nuke weapons compared to what's possibly in store in the future if people go stupid. Anyway, as we move on, the audio on the gadget there. Steve, I had a really good solid copy here. When you keep your camera good, you quieted everything out. We use called a regulated output amplifier. That's basically what the compressor is doing, because it turns up the gain when you're not talking and turns the gain on when you are talking, with the average output the same. So what it sounded like to me was an RAF, because when you were stopped talking, the background noise came up. I could hear racket in the shack. And then when you did talk, the background noise went down, and my shack was full of your voice, all your audio. So is it working? Yeah. But number one, we need someone at a distance, because you're already booming in here. So, I can hear your hair grow when you're not talking using your compressor there. That's how much it's cranking up the volume to listen to your carrier and to your modulation there. When you speak lightly or when you're not talking. So it's doing its job, but we need someone at a distance to see if it's punching through any better. So how about over now, KJ4YEV, W4 machine.
W4 MEC in the group, KJ4YEV. I'm hearing lots of static crashes, but amazingly strong signals today. Everybody is over the noise. No problem. No problem at all, everybody. And Charlie, I agree with what you thought about Steve's compressor there. I was going to say the same thing. I could hear the background noise come up in between words. It seems to have a fairly fast attraction and release time. When he's talking, he's got a good clear audio, and then in between words and sentences, you hear the background noise come up. So that's typical of a compressor, so it is working. So let's see, I believe it goes to John, W4JPL to take it. This is KJ4YEV.
Okay, W4JPL here, and no longer storming Liberty, North Carolina. We had a heck of a temperature drop today, 97 to 76. That storm blew through. I can hear the difference with the compressor. Unfortunately, like everybody else said, there's so much static tonight. It's hard to give a good report. There probably does need to be somebody out in the breeze to give a better report on that. It's going to really be good. Somebody that's not so close. I never did go to Berryville. I always got a lot of stuff going on here at the house. It's that grass. I got 5 acres of grass that cut. Lately, it's been growing very well. If I could make money selling lawn clippings, I'd be a millionaire. It's that spring grass. Get a little bit of rain, it springs up foliage. So, yeah, no, I didn't make that Berryville. I just wasn't motivated, and I am going through this week, Brian, but unfortunately, it's the other stuff out with it. I got some family coming in there from up north, and we'll spend some time with those folks for a couple of days. Thanks for the insanity. WA4 LLR on the group, W4 JPL. Okay, fine business, John. Let's see. Let me take a quick stand. Do we have anybody else? Okay, acknowledging Mayor. Do we have any others? All right, Mayor, you'll come after John on the next round, so go ahead and make one and get it back to me. W4JP, I'm sorry, WF2U, WA4LLR.
Roger. Good afternoon, everybody. Switch radios. I heard you use well, first of all signals are pretty good. Little QSB. I have static, but it's interesting in this radio. In the noise blanket is completely out, so it's not really bothering me much. And I tried to call. I actually called in the first check-in and the second check-in. I got Calmac AF67 on. I had the PMR7 receiver on, and everybody was blasting in on it. And I kept calling and calling and calling, obviously because of the noise or something. 45 watts just didn't hack it. They just want me. And then I had the second run. So several times and nothing. I'm actually using the 80-meter headset antenna that I have here, but it's on the other side of the house. And a big extension cable to take it to my shed because that antenna is usually connected to my GRC 142 shelter where I have my some of my military radios in there. So I have to add another like 2 feet of coax adjuster, and I connected it here to the shack. And the SG2000 that I got as the Winslow headset, 100 watts on the amp, but it's only the upper side vent full carry. So, but everybody's blasting in here. So back to you. I wonder how you copy me, but it's over 9 basically with a little QSB up and down. This radio doesn't have a meter. It's just a 0 to 100. So by the hardware, so you can read more or less signal strength is translated to an S meter. This is W.
All right, Mayor. WF2U, WA4LR. One more standby. Anyone else? Come down. All right, nothing heard. All right, good deal. As everybody said, it worked for the QRN, signals would be tremendous. I mean, just blasting in. So excellent copy on everybody. Steve, I have the same audio report that Charlie does. It sounds like when you put the processor or the compressor in, it sounds like you crank the audio gain way up so you can hear the fans running and everything in the background. But when you spoke, there was no distortion, and it was almost, to me, the same audio level that it was before you put the compressor on. So it was clear as a bell, but it sounded like you really cranked the gain so that we could hear everything going on around you, and then when you spoke, all that went away. So Charlie gave you a good description of it. And everybody is booming in. Like I said, John, fine business on the beach strip, and Mary's booming. Can't give anybody a signal report other than just say you're loud because I'm using the BC342N receiver this evening. Not a whole lot going on here radio-wise. Just still running the usual stuff. Don't have any major projects going on. And sorry to hear that Maryville was down about 25% from what it has been. But those that went found something that they had to have. Steve, looks like you're listening on the Malachite. Nice little screen, and sure sounds good. And excellent live stream you got going. Thanks for doing that. So let's go back around. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
All right, WA4LLR, N4LQ. Well, I appreciate all the comments. And yeah, Charlie and Dave, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. And one thing different is I can talk farther away from the mic. You know, like right now, I'm about a foot away, and normally I can't do that. So it picks up the gain a little bit when I talk lower and so forth. But now, last night I was on here and I kicked it on, and there just happened to be a guy listening in Pittsburgh, and he said, "Boy, oh boy, that really brought the copy up to 100% better." So that's interesting. Anyhow, yeah, it is the Malachite receiver, and some of the comments. There's let's see, 9 people watching the video right now, and one guy said either you have a huge thumb or that's an awfully small receiver, and it is very small. And I've just got a little microphone aimed toward the speaker here, so it's not going to sound all that high-fi, but it was a quick setup. That's all I can say. I got in a hurry here. I had never done this with this setup, just a webcam sitting on the desk, aimed right at the Malachite. And there's an anomaly on the screen. There's a kind of a blue circle. It looks like a big eye, and that's got to be some reflection off the screen. So yeah, it doesn't look quite natural. Anyway, everybody is booming in here, 20, 30, or even more over 9 and some meters. So everybody's sounding great today. So let's see. The old Viking 1 here that came in, and I ordered the tube for it here tomorrow. Ordered it yesterday from Amazon, not Amazon, but from some guy on eBay. And it's here tomorrow, and I'm changing out the rectifiers. The solid state rectifiers had been put in, and they made plate voltage about, it was supposed to be 600, and it was almost 300. And that kind of gave the modulator a heart rate up. So I'm getting it all back to normal here now, unmodified. So with that, I'll turn it on over to Stan again, and you're sounding great today. And W4KR, N4L.
Oh, okay, Steve. N4KR. Okay, that time I could get a read on it. Yeah, the background noise level went up, but yeah, modulation intensity this went up a bunch. So glad to finally be able to do it. The static level starting to drop a little bit, and you were about 25 overnight transmission. What was I gonna? I was gonna ask Charlie something. Oh, Charlie, I was fascinated with your email yesterday or the day before concerning ink in lymph nodes. Fascinating. Yeah, my wife spent the last 10 years of her working life in the GYN oncology world, and she was surprised that ink would land in the lymph nodes. Surprising. Thankfully, neither of the boys nor the grandkids have gone the ink route, so we're safe from that. But fascinating. Still, I turned on YouTube, and for some reason, and the other computer here, for some reason, I'm not getting any audio out of it today. So I don't know what's going on. I gotta poke around in there tomorrow and see what's going on. Whether the low speaker power supply has quit or what, but we'll find out. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say good afternoon. And Lord willing, we'll catch you. I don't think we'll be here Tuesday because I think we have Joan has an appointment down in Anderson, and I think that's we got to be down there by 9 o'clock. So that'll kill things. Anyway, 7-3s, guys, be safe, and we shall see either not Tuesday, but probably Thursday morning, unless we're in super crash bang mode again. KN4R, Many Old Friends Group, W4KR. Good evening.
No, Jason, very good. W4KR in the group. KN4R. Well, everybody's just booming in here, including you, Stan. Have a good Tuesday there with your wife. Let's see, regarding ink, I resisted the urge to get tattoos, but I think back, probably some of the fly-by-night ink that you might get overseas would probably be worse than maybe some of the stuff here. But my comments on the audio sounds a bit cooler, maybe slightly less. I said more bassy, a little, just slightly bassier, fuller, but it sounds good. But the background noise definitely comes up between words too. So sounds really nice. Like a great addition, and I'm amazed. P&H company certainly built a lot of interesting gear like that little mobile amplifier, which I've never seen before. So let's see. And good luck on that Viking 1, by the way. Sounds good. And John, another beach trip, or you're getting ready for another beach trip, so that sounds great. So I got my kidney stone out. They went up the pipe and zapped it with a laser and flushed it out. All that, so I'm feeling better. So I still got to step in for a couple of weeks. And the doctor said is that she can take it out at the Charlotte VA in Salisbury, which means she can do it in her office. So I'm really looking forward to that. So anyway, 73 Stan. I'm gonna go ahead and say 73s as well, but I listen. So take it away, Mr. Lee, K4VWD, and the group.
Okay, Gary. Brian, I'm sorry. Thank you This is K4VWD. Now, Charlie, if you will listen up just a minute. I got curious about this power supply for the HRO, and I called Earl to find out if he knew what Fritz had in mind, and he does not. He understood the operation of the two switches, how the B plus switch turns on the mid voltage, but you can't make the radio work unless you turn on both power switches. He understood all that, but he has no idea why Fritz did it that way. So anyway, I thought you might be interested in that. And I've enjoyed it, even though we got a lot of noise. I've been able to copy most everything everybody said, except for Glenn and Mir. I'm having, Glenn, you got a good strong signal, but the noise has got you. And the same way with Mir. I'm not hearing what Mir says. So I'm going to say something to you, God bless. Dave, thank you for doing the net. Man, you got a great signal. And Steve and Stan, both, my S-meter pegged and it never left the peg while y'all were talking. So, Glenn, here she comes. I hope everybody has a blessed weekend, and I look forward to talking to you on Tuesday. N4AK, K4VWD. So long, but I'll listen.
K4VWD in the group, November 4 Alpha Kilo. There's quite a delay on listening to the internet in real time. So, and that's a nice picture there of the rig. And Steve, how do you spell Malachite? And I guess he's ordering it on eBay. You might send a link about that. It's a nice little rig. No question about it. I could see Mir's one sideband AM transmitter. It was very evident on the Malachite signal there. And I remember in the past, a company that also made a compre amp or compression amp with Waters, W-A-T-E-R-S, Waters compre amp. It used the sideband. So some of you folks remember that one. And Stan, if you're not receiving anything, I guess if you've been on digital, you still may be in codec, but you need to be in real text. You have to sit down and switch back and forth. Brian, I'm so happy for you about the kidney stone. Sounds like the laser method is the way to go. So I had a stone crusher episode about 5 or 6 years ago. And, I know you're happy that thing is out. All right. Nothing else from here. Just listening. It's nice to hear everybody this afternoon. So, Charlie, to you, W4MEC and 4AK.
Okay, Glenn, N4AK in the group W4MEC. Well, I guess since we're being put on the internet, we ought to tell folks what we're using. I'm running a heat Apache TX1 receiving on a Mohawk RX1 receiver, feeding an 80-meter dipole with 450 ohm window line through a Heathkit 2060 tuner. And the Apache is basically stock except for changing out a couple of 500 picofarad audio stage caps for 0.01. So, let's see what else we got here. My notes here, Mir, I did not hear you at all, but when Stan checked in, there was a carrier on his signal, and Stan was louder than that carrier. So I wondered if that was you checking in at the very beginning there. But after that point, I never heard anything until you checked in here this last time. The ink issue, well, you have to understand, this guy does not just have USMC on one arm and a globe and anchor on the other. He's covered it with tattoos. So he's got quite a few put on him over many years. And he even has them on his head, not on his face, though, like some individuals seem to like to do, but neck, head, arms, back, front, everywhere. If you've ever read the book The Illustrated Man, which talks about the tattooing and things like that, people really get into it. And I just remember one of the pictures in it that it was a businessman, and we're talking like he looked like a Fortune 500 businessman in a suit. And when you looked at him in a suit, there was absolutely no evidence of anything. But when he removed the suit jacket and all that, he was covered. His entire body was covered with tattoos, front, back, sides, everything, except anything that was exposed beyond the edges of the suit. So, like I said, and with the proliferation of so many tattoo parlors now, I guess people just think it's normal to go get a tattoo. But, yeah, that's a good question to the ink. Was it foreign ink? Did he get a lot of stuff overseas? Did he get a lot of stuff here? I can't answer that question. He had it done in both places. What else we got here? And the thing about the compressor there, well, in a regular studio, they don't put their face up to the microphone. They're back from it. Their compression is... makes them sound just as loud whether they're talking low or loud. But they also have soundproofing, so in the studio, so that kills all the reflections off the walls from other noises and things. It really becomes effective in broadcasting with turning up the gain on the low audio and backing it down on high. But in this case, like Dave said there, when you quit talking, all the background noise came up, fans and everything else, and I can hear your hair growing. So. But and I will say it did not change the quality of your voice, and it doesn't sound like it's over-modulating. So all in all, it's an improvement. So, okie dokie, let's see. And I guess this is a 73 round, so I'll say 73, and I'll look for you fellas on Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. I think I got the show that time. Al, KJ4YEV in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC in the net, KJ4YEV. Yeah, I'm one of the, right now I think it says there's 7 people watching that screen. I'm one of them. I've been watching it all along. At one point there were 13 on there, and that's quite an interesting little screen there. I like that. Nice job, and thank you for putting that on the internet, Steve. I'll say 73 to all. It's been a good night, so we'll look forward to next Sunday. KJ4YEV over to John, W4JPL to take it. This is KJ4YEV, over.
Carrier, no audio.
No. Wait a minute. I got a loose connection here. Okay, taken care of, get that skin out, you'll be all right. I'm going to say 73 this night. And I hope everybody has a very wonderful, blessed week, and I'll catch up with you guys probably next weekend. 73 over to W4JPL.
Yeah, Roger, W4JPL, WSCO. Yeah, for a while I didn't hear anything, and then you came up and there was a whistle also. I don't know if it was just like somebody's carrier, but you came out from that. And I copied you the last couple of sentences. Anyway, yeah, yeah, Charlie, yeah, it must have been me because I know that I called in, and when I called in and released the microphone, transmission, so we must have been doubling in the first check-in for the first round, but it could have been me. But I know that I had modulation because I tested everything before, and even when I was talking, I was watching the current, the modulated current and everything, so everything looked normal. But I guess, 40 something, 40 watts or so out in a noisy environment might not be overriding that might not have the 2 dB or so margin over the noise, so I could be legible at all. So that's why I went to this rig. Anyway, Brian, glad to hear you that your procedure was done and you on the way to recovery, and that's good. And you sounded pretty good with the Globe champ. And Steve, you booming in. Actually, you were the strongest patient, but everybody was pretty strong, and I really like how they noise blanker on this radio took care of it. I barely heard any static crashes after I activated it, because if I take the noise blanker out, it's pretty noisy. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this radio. Anyway, so too bad that my Elmex station just didn't hack it today, and that's about it. Steve, I assume if it was a live stream now, it will be. I didn't look at it because I came in with a low battery on my phone, and I won't be able to watch it until I get in the house and put it on a charger. But anyway, it was at least good to get to one third of the net, and glad at least I'm getting out with this antenna. It will take me some time to put up another one. I'll have to crank down and tilt my tower over, which right now I can't do it with full foliage. So I'll have to wait until the full. So this is the antenna that I'm going to use on 80 meters for a while. So keep all the extension cables in the driveway. I told my wife try not to go over it with something sharp. Anyway, so that's it from here. So thanks, Dave, for running the net. Take care, everybody, and we'll be probably here sharp at least Tuesday morning. WA4LR, this is WFCU 73 tool, but listening to the bidder or non-bidder, and go ahead, Dave.
Okay, Mayor, fine business. WFTU WA4LR. All right, other than the QRN, man, killer signals today. Excellent. Let me take one quick standby. Does anyone have a final comment before we close down?
Yeah, I turned down the gain on the compressor, so it's not picking up. It shouldn't be picking up as much background noise. What you're hearing was the amplifier. So can you tell any difference now, Dave?
All the background's not as loud. I can still hear it just a little, but not as loud.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, everybody have a great rest of the weekend. Thank you for checking in. And Lord willing, we'll see you on Tuesday morning. God bless. This is WA4LR. Dave and Burnsville closing out this session of the Old Friends Net. Have a good one.
Oh, Steve, it's on your channel?
Yeah, I sent an email out on the Old Friends reflector, so you should see it. And just click on it. And I think it's going to, of course, I'm going to end it here in a minute, but I think it stays on there so you can replay it. And the camera acted up there for a while. It was out of focus, and all of a sudden it decided to straighten up. So now it's okay and looks good. So anyway, hey, your antenna's doing good now. You're hanging in there. You're like 20 over 9, Mir.
Oh, that's good. That's why I'm sort of disappointed that the LMAC didn't hack it.
The what didn't hack it? The LMAC?
Because initially I did two rounds that I tried to call with the LMAC.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear that. But the first long transmission you made, I had trouble with the synchronous AM locking in on you, and it would your carrier would fade a little bit, and then it would try to lock in on your audio, and it kept kept swooping. You know what I mean? The frequency would keep changing, but that's just the way it acts, I guess, on that upper sideband.
Okay, now would it lock into a carrier? Well, I have a carrier anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that's great. So it only has that synchronous detector mode, or can you go to switch to like a conventional detector?
Yeah, I can switch it over to conventional AM, but then I have to put up with all the fading, the distortion, and so forth. But I mean, you're fine now. Did you change radios or something? Because it's not doing that anymore.
No, that's the power. That's the SCC. The SCC. As I said, I just plugged in the antenna to this one when nobody heard me with the LMAC and filled in the third round.
Yeah. All right. Well, whatever you did, it sounds good now. And see, I go back and listen to yourself somewhere, midpoint in the video or something, and I assume it'll still be there. This is the first time I've done this for probably 5 years, so we'll see how it works out. And I'm glad you got that coax run, and the antenna going. Does a lot better job.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I know that the antenna is going through a tree. It's kind of foliage, so it's not ideal, but at least it's there.
All right. Well, yeah, at least it's there. Well, it's cooled off here. It's only 75 degrees, and I'm getting ready to go out and take a walk here, and I'm going to be late on 160 if I show up at all. Static's probably pretty rough, but when I get back, I'll fire it up and give it a listen. If you're there, fine. If not, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. I might come out. I'm not sure. Anyway, next time I hope maybe it's not going to be that Thursday. I'll try Tuesday morning together with the LMAC. Putting out 45 watts I mean, it should be okay, and it's the same antenna that I'm using now.
I don't know what the problem was. I didn't hear anything, so either you were off frequency or something else.
No, I was crystal controlled with a 37.
Well, if you want to try it again real quick, feel free. I'll listen for it.
It's going to be a little awkward going. I already turned the power off for that section. So it's all right. We'll wait until Tuesday.
Okay, then that's fine. All right. Well, we'll let you go then. Thanks a lot for the audio reports, and we'll see you next time. WF2U in 4L will be clear.
73, Steve. So I might be out here like maybe also a little bit after listen a little bit and you hear it's not. I'll just sit here a few minutes and go in. Take care. WF2 is clear.
Good night, N4LQ clear.